In this video, we will show you how to install Android Studio on your computer. To start, open up your favorite browser and your favorite search engine, whatever they may be, and simply search for Android Studio Download. That's search for Android Studio Download. You will probably get the very first link will be to download Android Studio. You click on it and it'll bring you to the page where you can download Android Studio. When you do that, you will always want to install and download the latest version. Currently, the current version is 4.0.1 at the time that this video is being made. Whatever time you're doing this, you always want to install the latest and greatest version of Android Studio. All you need to do is click on the Download Android Studio button. You'll get displayed their terms and conditions. Read through them if you'd like. Click that you have read them and that you agree to them, and then click on Download Android Studio. At this point in time, the download will begin. Or your browser may ask you where you want to save. For me, my browser is already going to start downloading the software, the installer software, to my computer, and I can see this progress down here in the lower left. In the meantime, we're going to wait for this to finish, and we're going to cut this portion of the video out and go right to the point where it's once it's completed. All right, now that our download is completed, we can click on this button over here, and I can either open the software, or actually I want to show it in this folder. So I'm going to open it up in my download folder, and I'm going to grab that executable and drag it onto my desktop. Once I've done this, I can close down the folder, I can close down my browser, and then I can double click on the installer. It'll take a moment for the installer to open up. And then usually your operating system will ask you if it's okay to have this installed. So we're going to go ahead and click yes. And then the installer begins. Right? At this point in time, we are just going to go through the installer and accept all the defaults. Please always accept all the defaults, no matter what may be shown on your screen, just accept all the defaults. So here we want to install, yes, next. What components do we want to install? We're just going to accept the defaults, next. Where do we want to install it? We're going to install it in the default place, next. What do we want to call it? We're going to call it the default, which is Android Studio, that's great. We're going to hit install. And now this installer will do the work to install Android Studio on your system. Again, we will edit this part out and go right to the point where the installation has been completed. All right, now that the installation is completed, we can just go ahead and click next. Then it says that it's been completed, and do we want to start Android Studio? We're going to go ahead and start up Android Studio. Android Studio will then start up, and you'll be displayed the open welcome splash screen, which is right here. All right. Before we go in and do anything, the one thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we've loaded on to our system the necessary SDK. Right. For the current version of this class, you need to have API 29 installed on your system. To do that, we just go to the Configure drop-down menu down here and click that we want to go to the SDK Manager. SDK Manager. We want to click on that. The SDK Manager will pop up, and for me, it shows that I already have API 29 installed. I also have API 22 installed. Right? But you can pick any API you want. It's not necessary, but you're going to want to click that you want API 29 installed and then install it. Right? I already have installed, so I go ahead and click OK. At this point in time, our Android Studio is ready to be used for this Coursera MOOC class. Our next video will show you how to open a project using Android Studio.